After the groundbreaking allegations against Harvey Weinstein broke in the New York Times, a new movement known as Me Too was born. What started as a supportive social media phrase by social activist Tarana Burke in 2006, the phrase was picked up by actress Alyssa Milano, spreading through Twitter as a hashtag that would change the landscape of social media as a way to spread awareness and acknowledge sexual harassment and abuse in the workplace. We're joined by Zainab Salbi, host of a new 5-part series on PBS titled #MeToo, Now What?, which premieres on February 2nd to get her take on this tsunami of social change. Zainab, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So first, let's just talk about the fact that all of this has changed so much so quickly, because this New York Times article was just in October, and yet we've completely changed our conversation around sexual harassment, inappropriate touch, coercion. Where is the conversation as you see it right now?
Well, I mean, I feel like women always had that conversation.
Yes.
And we were numb to it. Mm-hmm. You know, you sort of survive it. You have to coexist with it. I just came from traveling to different parts of the country and just talked to women and men from all walks of life about the Me Too movement, right?
Wow.
And so what this did is sort of forced it to the national debate. And I think only men are surprised, to be honest, that this has happened. You know, I mean, and I'm not, and we're having a lot of dialogue with men, and I'm a big believer in having dialogue with men. But if you don't know about it, you just didn't know that this has happened all along and for generations. Mm-hmm. You know, and now I'm glad that it's being forced into the national discussion and national debate. The question becomes, how do we use this moment constructively so we can turn things around, so we can turn our interrelationships with each other and how we negotiate them and how we deal with them, and for it to have lasting change.
Well, it's interesting that you were saying that this has been going on for generations, as many women know, but there seems to be a deep generational divide, even within the Me Too movement. A lot of older women tend to view some of the issues, not necessarily of abuse, or especially of something like rape, but a lot of the more subtle issues of harassment, of women feeling coerced, of the issue around consent, tend to view it in a more you're responsible for yourself type of way, whereas we're seeing the younger generation, millennials, saying, actually, no, this needs to be more of men need to be held accountable for all of their behavior.
And these are some of the debates we're having. You know, I think all women, honestly, in my observation, in my travels and discussions about the subject, I had never met any woman who is not supportive of this movement and is saying this is the best thing. And women from all generations are talking about their own experiences. I just went to a senior organization for senior women, actually. And they were talking about things that happened to them in high school, you know, 50 years ago, and how their parents said, hush, hush. So everyone is excited about it. I think the issue is, how do we talk about the nuances? How do we talk about our own agency and our own power? And how do we talk about it in a way where we are holding the integrity of our grievances together and not diluting it? I think that's the worry. The worry is that if we equate everything as bad, as equally bad, equally bad is the secret word here, then we hurt the really bad cases. And then we may dilute women's grievance, actually. They're saying, okay, you're talking about he talked to me in a wrong way, then that's bad, and he raped me, that's bad. The rape is the bad, the assault is the bad, the groping is the bad, but the talking with me that's the negotiation that is happening right now. Not the negotiation, the discussion that is happening right now amongst women.
Are there any particular instances that stand out to you, perhaps? A perfect example right now is this case from the University of Michigan with this Dr. Larry Nassir, who abused hundreds, apparently, of young girls. The fact that this happened in a way where these young girls were being brought to this person, he was presented to them as a doctor, and in some horrific examples, this abuse occurred while their parents was in the room with them. When the judge sentenced him, she was very, very clear to say, I have signed your death warrant in sentencing you to, I think it was 175 years. Is that the tone that women need to be taking when they're addressing some of these incredibly aggrieved issues, that it needs to be a very harsh but a very clear tone that this is an absolute no?
I would say, in this case, it's a black and white. He was just clearly a horrible predator. Maybe a good doctor, but a horrible predator. So that's, for me, is a black and white issue. The criticism of the judge is that she expressed her emotions and that she gave a space for the victims to speak. And I look at that, and so I feel like this case is very different than the discussion of the Aziz Ansari case, which is much more about nuances.
Yes.
For me, this is a black and white, and this is nuances, and we need to be very clear about what's what. When the criticism against the judge is that she expressed her emotion and her adamant support for the victims, I say, so what? It's okay. You know, perhaps this is about all of us expressing our emotions. So I don't have an issue with her saying this is how she felt and giving the space for the victims to speak. In the past, when we had judges who were supportive of the aggressors and shut the victims down from speaking up, there wasn't that much uproar. You know. So here you have a woman who is speaking and saying, and everyone is expressing emotions. No, don't express emotions. I say, it's okay. That's different for me, and I'm okay with her expressing personally that emotion. The Aziz Ansari case is the one that is having many women
that
and
is,
men
yes,
talking,
causing a lot of conversation.
Because it's much more about, why did she say no? Why didn't she say no? Why didn't she hold her space? Why didn't she say, I want, white wine and red wine, That sort of, it holds the nuances, and that's sort of, at the beginning, I'm like, wow, really? We're having a big discussion on something that we all don't know where it stands.
Yeah.
And the best articulation for one of the young women I met, actually, I think in Texas, and she said, but it's forcing us to have the discussion. And that is a healthy thing.
We are definitely at the beginning of this conversation. We've got a long way to go, all of us. Listen, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll continue our conversation with Zainab Salbi tomorrow to discuss her new 5-part series, #MeToo, Now What? Premiering February 2nd at 8:30 on PBS.